G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the north side of the map playing as the English, we have got Tarto. On the opposite side of the map playing as the Chinese, we have got Grubby. That's correct, we have got a pretty decent game right here in front of us because this is Hill and Dale. We are on the brand new patch and this is a matchup that I have a lot of trouble with. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Grubby plays it. Interesting opening that he goes for, and I love the way that he's doing this. This is such a smart move. So he's going to finish off the mill there with the villagers that have the wood. They're going to drop off that wood and it gets amplified by the Imperial official. Interestingly, Grubby not going for a double scout opening with China, which I definitely feel is like a cardinal sin for China. You always want to be looking for that second scout just to try and find a little bit more sheep on the map. So we'll see how he tries to mitigate that because his enemy obviously playing as the English, not going to be going for a second scout, instead just going to be going for a barracks. We've got men-at-arms coming out, heading towards Grubby's base. At least they were heading towards Grubby's base. They've stopped, but now they've got their gears back in order. And they're making their way out. We'll check in with Grubby and see how he's doing and what his macro is looking like. 8 villagers already working their way over onto food. So let's talk a little bit about what Grubby did in the early game and the reason why he did this. So China, you start off with 150 wood. That leaves you with 50 wood for your house, 50 wood for your mill, because typically you want to get those taxes rolling, and 50 wood for question mark, whether that's 50 wood for your lumber camp or 50 wood for a mining camp. And Grubby goes and takes that extra 60 wood, turns it in over at the mill, and he's now got 60 wood in the bank to build that lumber camp. He never has to go off stragglers again. And he maximizes his efficiency by walking out to the lumber tree and then just walking to the mill. Very smart moves from him, but already some trouble begins in paradise for Grubby as he moves out and looks to slaughter the sheep of his opponent. See you later, mate. He also runs away, picks up the extra damage on that one, but he'll be falling back towards the town center. Now, obviously, he's got access to his wood line here, and the reason why is because, of course, he has already begun chopping down that wild oak tree, so he'll be able to drop down that lumber camp very, very shortly, and he's maximizing his villagers here on gold. Or rather on food, and now looking to actually send a villager out. This is dangerous, Grubby. I'm not sure if you're going to realize what's going to happen here. He's going to repair up the mining camp, but all of a sudden he's going to be running out of wood because you guessed it, the mining camp, it is draining wood as it gets repaired. So now down to 49, 48. You can see it continues to go down, and this is one of the questions I often throw up. Is it even worth repairing the mining camp in this position? Because it's highly likely that it's just going to die, even if you were to repair through it. And so you might as well just commit to a second one when it happens. You know, just sort of go away from that. But we do see the barracks transition is going to be stopping. Looks like Tarto back towards his own base is going to start thinking about a bit of a transition towards that feudal age. We'll check in on how everything is going towards the base of Grubby. And Grubby now going to be, he's going to be doing the awkward walk back to the town center. No lumber camp coming out for him just yet. He worked so hard for it, but unfortunately, it's not gonna work for him. But now that lumber camp going to be coming down. In addition to the mining camp also going to be going down, but just remember that China doesn't have to collect gold. It's not a big thing for them because they're always going to have access to their tax collection. It takes a little bit longer if you're going to do that. In fact, we've actually seen some players, Neptune is one of those players, that instead of going for a straggler tree at the beginning, he actually goes for gold at the beginning. And then from the gold, he then goes and builds the mill with those villagers that collect the gold. We obviously feature Neptune quite a bit on the channel, try and dissect that Chinese gameplay a little bit. You can see Grubby climbing up towards that 750 mark of food. Do not worry, that is not miss macro, that is perfectly intentional. The idea here is that he's going to be able to take his tax back towards the town center, and then he's going to be able to use that food not only for villager production, but also to get towards that second landmark. He wants to hit that dynasty, so that's where he is thinking. Over towards Tarto's base, we begin to see him making some moves, making some mogul moves back here as the landmark begins to come down. 4 villagers tapping away at it. Also going to be dropping down the mill. 4 villagers on gold, so highly likely we're going to be seeing a wheelbarrow play here. And the question is, do we see a Drush FC from Tarto? Obviously, Tarto, for anybody who doesn't know, he's from the Age of Empires 2 community. If there's any strategy that he's going to be feeling at home with, interesting placement on that landmark. I think he should still be fine with that. But obviously, the men-at-arms going to be able to come in underneath here. Oh, you might have to Yeah, you had it right the first time. You had it right the first time, Grubby. And now he's got a nice little bit of a safe landmark underneath there. Yeah, Tato's from the Age of Empires 2 community, and one of the common strategies that you see out of Age of Empires 2 players, or at least back in my day when I played Age of Empires 2, was the Drush FC. That stands for Dark Age Drush, Dark Age Rush. And FC meaning fast castle. And so essentially we could be seeing the same thing coming out from Tato here, where he is looking to focus a little bit more on his economy. Still yet to get that wheelbarrow in. I suspect it's going to be in any second. Going for a double mill as well. Very curious position back here. Could have actually dropped these 3 farms on this secondary mill, but I think this is probably a bit more of a later stage idea. Like he's like, oh, I've got deer back here. I might as well use these deer. And indeed he does. Still yet to see that wheelbarrow come through for him, though. Grubby reaches the feudal age. 5 minutes 30. Not a bad little timing considering the delay that he experienced. We can see that the men-at-arms going to be turning their attention towards the house, and we'll check to see the response from Grubby, because typically in this matchup, what you would love to do is go for that 2-town center Song Dynasty. This early aggression coming out from Tato really puts a spanner in the works for him. Sort of forces the inability to come out towards the stone outcropping, and you can see the deer carcasses have been very scattered by Tato, being very, very cheeky here. If Grubby wanted to drop a mill down or a town center down, you can see the extra walking distance he's going to have now. Normally, you'd expect the deer to be nice and close together like these ones, but not going to be the case. Not going to be the case because they have been moved away. Tato has been very cheeky in his forcefulness of that. Second landmark coming down for Grubby, and indeed it's going to be a little bit of a feudal age play here, mixing in the archery range as well as a stable. So I guess my question is, do we see a potential professional scouts coming out from him? Probably not on a map like this. Interesting building placement for Grubby here, putting the village in the front of the base. Villages are one of those awkward things when you're placing them on a map like this. Obviously Hill and Dale, you don't have a lot of space in the base. Normally when I'm placing my villages on this map, I'm not even kidding you, it's like back here. Like that's where I'm putting my villages, like against the wall, like just leave them, get them out of the way, that sort of thing, because putting them up towards the front, the difficulty is you're not going to be able to wall across this front now. I mean, I'm sure you can probably find a way, like maybe down here and then across, but it makes it a little bit more difficult. But we'll see exactly how he looks to play it as he continues to be sieged down upon that house. A couple units now coming out towards this direction. He'll be looking to dish out some damage towards these Vanguard men-at-arms. Over towards the base of Tato, we begin to see multiple upgrades coming through. Instead of going for horticulture, no wheelbarrow for Tato. Very, very interesting. So let's talk a little bit about why this probably isn't the wisest move. And look, one of the things I've tried to be doing in my casting is be a little bit less critical. So, you know, I want to just point out that this probably isn't the wisest thing to do. Why isn't it the wise? So one of the difficulties that you're going to have as the English is that your villagers are moving back and forth between your farms and your town center very often. Why are they doing that? Because the mills have got an increased gather rate of 15%. That means that they're going to be moving back more often than normal villagers back towards that position. So it means they're going to spend more time walking. As a result, when you get the horticulture upgrade, it's going to be increasing your villagers' gather rate even further. But one of the things to note is that with that, you don't have access to or you're not using the wheelbarrow yet, which is going to increase the time that it takes for your villagers to actually move. So not only are they going to be moving less, but when they do move, they're also going to be moving faster. So it makes sense in this position, instead of going for horticulture, to actually go for wheelbarrow first. It's going to help you out a huge amount in that early stage of the game. Horticulture is still a very important upgrade, but something that you shouldn't be justifying over that wheelbarrow, because wheelbarrow also affects every single villager that you have got. And that means that you see that little bit of walking distance that your old lady just had over there, it's going to be minimized. She's not going to be doing it as much. We'll check in over with Grubby as we saw the first Chocanu of the game coming out, and it looks like it's going to be a one-town center Song Dynasty fast castle coming out for Grubby. On this map, that is a rarity. It is one of the first times I think I've ever seen this strategy coming out on this map. Normally, you would see 2-town center, 3-town center Song Dynasty, absolutely wild stuff coming out. But for Grubby here, I suspect the play is going to be, he has identified that it makes sense for him because he's been delayed. You know, his plan has been having that spanner thrown in the works. He said, instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and switch. I'm going to take that, and I'm going to turn it into a fast castle. From here, you can see him standing on the relic. You know what that means? He's thinking about going for those relics. So I wouldn't be surprised, as soon as Grubby gets up to that castle age, that he'll be looking to drop down his monastery and try and cause a little bit of economic recovery. Few units now down over on the other side of the base for Tato. trying their best to cause some damage, but we also see Tato going up to the next stage. Now, I would expect stables coming up from Tato, and indeed, we begin to see those. And so Grubby should know that, you know, when you're playing up against an English player, if they want to go for this sort of Drush FC build order, which is exactly what they do, the Drush FC has officially come to Age of Empires 4. What they would typically be looking to do is go into that Castle Age themselves, look to mass up knights, look to spam those bad boys out, and also look to be taking up relics as well. We see one relic very close to Tato on his left side of his base, on his west side. The rest of them all going to be relatively centralized. We can see that already Grubby is continuing to monitor the status of that existing relic. Grubby now continuing to wall up his base, wants to be cautious of any potential raids, and we see he's got scouts out in position looking very, very carefully about where they are going, and we can see he continues to move out. Where is that monastery coming down? I can smell it coming down. Probably going to be in the front of the base, I would imagine. Try and get those monks out a little bit quicker. There it comes down. Monastery coming down, not getting rushed out. Now, one of the things that you can also do, look at this. Tato knows that Grubby is trying to deny these relics. Very, very smart players right here. One of the other things that you can do is look to supervise your monastery and get these bad boys out even faster. Lancers now making their moves towards the middle of the map. We'll have to look and see how Grubby plays it. You can see that the Imperial official is going to be looking to do their collection. Chokanu going to be running into a scout. Lancer going to be coming out, looking to try and dish out some damage towards that position. Hopefully, if it doesn't get away, he's going to be able to take it out, and indeed he does. Grubby picking up a nice little win there and preventing a lot of line of sight gathering from Tato. Tato now going to be dropping down a blacksmith in a very weird spot. Look at that. The way that it sits in a kind of crater down towards that little position. I'm going to just say, you know, when it rains, you probably don't want to be the guy living at the blacksmith. You do not want to be the blacksmith. But now, Tato continuing to wall up. Yet to see any monastery coming. Never mind. There's the monastery coming out for Tato. I was going to say, we're yet to see a monastery out. This is a bit weird. No, it's not weird at all. I'm just blind. Legally blind. Double knights coming out as well. So what Tato can look to do here is look to try and deny the relics being collected by Grubby. Grubby's going to be coming out trying to guard these relics, try and prevent any sort of early gathering of these relics. We can see he's going to be able to camp up these neutral ones using the less stronger units to camp the outer ones. It makes sense for him to actually move forward with his knights over towards this relic. And by doing that, he's going to be able to deny any potential relics that get picked up. And we already begin to see the monastery now going to be making that monk. Now, this relic probably isn't going to get denied by Grubby. This relic is almost guaranteed to get picked up by Tato, but one of the things that he can look to do is try and slow down the progression of the English play, because one of the things that's going to be happening after this monk comes out, collects this first relic, and moves back, it's going to be thinking about its next relic. It's going to be thinking about the next relic. It's going to be thinking about the next relic, potentially, and you can slow that down. But it also makes sense if Grubby's just thinking to play this a little bit more passively, say, I'm just going to guarantee that I'm able to pick up 4 relics. He's doing the right thing 100% here. He's got to be careful up towards the north side, though. There could be a scout out. And indeed, there is a scout out. A couple of knights. Wallalor not going to be able to come down here. He's going to try his best, but unfortunately going to be losing his life. And with that, we see the slowing of progression. This is something that I was talking about when it comes to this relic over here. If you're able to come out here and pick off this monk before it gets back behind those walls, you slow down the progression of the English player. Knight going to get picked up. A Lancer going to get picked up there. So a very nice pick up there from Tato, doing the smart thing. Back in the base of Grubby. We'll check in and see how he's doing. Just the one town center Song Dynasty at the moment for him. Double archery range, double stable. So looking to go for a Lancer and crossbow combo, I would suspect. But no, we see archers coming out. Not going to be crossbows today for Grubby. Very curious. He's going to have to fall back with that Lancer. He's going to be losing the first one if he's not careful. A couple more reinforcements going to be able to help out. Ideally going to be trying to pick those off, and indeed he does. A lot more Lancers going to be coming in. Great micro there from Grubby. Impressive stuff. Ideally, you want to be careful of re-engaging with these Lancers, but unfortunately, he's not paying attention. Loses his first Lancer. Might be going down, actually. Second Lancer might go down as well. More units moving out. Veteran Archers coming through now for Grubby, and he is moving out on this map. I'm not sure exactly where that relic has gone. It might have been taken away, but Grubby actually looking to take Sacred Sites now, so he's got a lot of these bad boys out. We hear the third relic, or second relic being picked up. Third relic obviously gone over towards his enemy already. Knights continuing to build up for Tato. He's on 2 town centers. No Song Dynasty available for him because obviously he is playing as the English, but he's got that King's Palace working overtime, and you can see he's got a pretty decent economy back here. all things considered. 69 population at the moment, 57 of which are villagers. Compare that over to Grubby, who is sitting on 59 villagers. So that Song dynasty really paying dividends here. And typically you'd think, you know, 2 town centers against 1. I'm going to give the favorite over to 2 town centers. Definitely is the case, but it's going to take some time before it starts to pay off against that Song dynasty. And now the crossbow is going to be coming out for Grubby. This is a difficult matchup. I'll take a little bit of a breather right now just to talk about this matchup and about how difficult this gets for China in the late game. A lot of people look at China and they think, you know, that is the supreme late game civilization. And to an extent, that's true. But there is one matchup that they have difficulty with in the post-imperial age, and that is the English. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Grubby takes this game on, because this is going to be tough. Heading forward into this late game position, Grubby's going to have a number of difficult things to deal with. Most importantly, longbows are going to be very difficult for him to deal with. And a lot of people might jump up and down and say, well, hold on, Drongo. The English have got longbows, but the Chinese, they've got access to granaries. What are granaries going to do? I'm thinking about grenadiers, don't worry. Monk, unfortunately, going to get picked up here. Tarto going to be trying his best. Wallala ain't going to help you, not in this position. Relic goes down, but obviously it's the safest relic. You can see 2 captured at this point in time. Third one still sitting out here. But we can see that the Monk on the front side, Grubby going to be able to try and pick it off if Tarto's not careful. But the Grenadiers get picked off very effectively by the longbows. That was the point I wanted to make. So Grenadiers in the late game become a little bit of a non-issue for the English, just because the good micro, when it comes out from the English, it's very effective. And then in addition to that, the men-at-arms have got that extra damage, or rather extra armor, that enables them to survive much longer against the Chokunu. Every other civilization's only going to have 8 armor on their men-at-arms, but the English, they get 10. And that's a perfect breakpoint against the Chinese because of the 11 damage that comes out on the Chokunu. It effectively means in the Imperial Age that the men-at-arms only take 1 damage from those Chokunu. So a really nice another counter. And then finally, the bombards for the Chinese get countered by the trebuchets of the English. So there's a lot of difficult things for the Chinese. But now great raids coming through for Grubby here. Grubby going to be taking Tarto down to almost 50 villages here. He's continuing to cause havoc, running through the base. Tarto just thinking about other things at this point in time. A lot of villagers going to get caught out of position. More knights going to be running back. He's able to draw these units back towards his base. You can see that Tarto now has got barely anything out on the map as the Monk continues to move out towards this position. Relic has been picked up. Sacred Site going to be captured. Very greedy there from Grubby. Trying to do 2 things at the same time. Looks like we've got a market coming down here as well. Tarto realizing things aren't looking the best. And now all of a sudden, a little bit of a cleanup in R3 as Grubby slowly and steadily loses military forces. He's sitting on at the moment on 71 villagers. Compare that to 53 for Tarto, and the villager count is looking good, looking healthy for Grubby as he continues to sit on. Scout going to be going down. Unfortunately, delete the scout. You can't even delete the scout. That's the worst part. You can't delete the scout. The scout turns over to Grubby. The Caped Crusader becomes a Chinese friend, and a friend of the party indeed that scout is. But now down towards the south side, we do see that a couple of villagers have moved out onto the middle of the map. A couple of horsemen just lying in wait, and a forward keep coming down for Grubby. Grubby looking very good, but he's got to be careful. Those knights are moving out. Those knights are going to discover the keep, and with that, highly likely look to take out every single one of these villagers because there are no units here for Grubby. Very bold of Grubby. Very optimistic. Very bold of him indeed, but unfortunately, all of those villagers get donated over. I can't help but feel that that was a little bit preemptive there from Grubby. Nice little try. But now Grubby, unfortunately, going to be losing that keep. He cancels it off. No second town center from Grubby just yet. Very, very curious. Just committing to the 1 town center player here for the time being. Normally, you would expect to see a Chinese player go for 2 TC, but Grubby not going to be doing it. Trebuchet also going to be coming out. You can see it was moving into position. 4th relic going to be coming in for Grubby. He's already picked up 3 of them. He's got the other Monk in position, moving out over onto this eastern side of the map, looking to potentially take that sacred site. Knight's going to be rounding the corner. Crossbows? Where are the crossbows? That is the question for Grubby right now, because that's going to be able to hold the line. The other alternative, you can see that Grubby's gone for the correct approach with regard to these walls. Taking the wide berth here, it makes sense. Instead of putting those walls here on the inside, puts them on the outside so we can fit stone walls behind them. Very smart move. Knights now turning their attention towards the palisade wall on the edge. A couple more crossbows looking to move out. We hear that second sacred site looking to get captured. A single sacred site remains unneutralized at this point, or uncaptured. More knights continuing to fight it off. They've got +2 ranged armor for Grubby. Oh my lord, there's a lot of knights now coming out for Tarto. He's going to be dishing out the damage. The Drush FC is looking to try and capitalize on this position. Those knights, those English knights looking very good, very healthy. A lot of upgrades and a counter-attack coming through at the top side. I'm not sure exactly what it was. There was a brief attack up on that blacksmith. Trebuchet, you hear it firing off. Actually, was it the blacksmith under attack? I don't know what was attack up here, but I had an attack alarm. This game sometimes, it messes you, it messes with you, man. Grubby now looking to take the third sacred site. Now, keep in mind, Grubby not really going for a sacred victory here, and just looking to try and capitalize on the fact that these sacred sites provide that extra little trickle of gold. He'll be getting that in, and take a look at this. This is something that always happens to me as well. Whenever I've got 4 relics, or 5 relics, and I start capturing sacred sites, very quickly, my gold starts to spiral out of control. It's not the best thing. And here we can see that Grubby's got 21 villagers on gold. In this position, this is okay on this map, but you gotta you always have to be cognizant of it. Look to try and market trade some of it away. And now those knights moving in, no sprinkled in placement just through neutralizing these sacred sites. He's gonna try his best. Grubby looking to contest them. All 3 sacred sites might be going down at the same time, but he's managed to hold one of them. Now down towards the south side, we also see some more walls coming up for Grubby. He's going to be trying his best to hold on to this position as the knights continue to head back towards the other side and look to try and dish out damages. A third town center comes down for Tarto here. This could be bad for Grubby. We'll take a look at the villager count and see where these two guys are at. Tarto sitting on 73 at the moment, Grubby on 86. So just continuing with that one TC Song Dynasty play. He adds in the second town center finally. And now we start to see a mill transition. Interestingly, Grubby doesn't go for granaries. He's got a lot of mills out, and I'd be curious to know his thoughts behind it. Is he a fan of the granaries? If not, why not? Because a lot of people are still mixed on this. We see Viper, Beastie Cutie regularly go for granaries, Marine Lord as well, and then we see some players like De Muslim who just avoid them completely. Just do not fancy them at all. So I'd love to know what his thoughts are about them. Obviously, they take up a lot of space, and typically, you know, you're going to need a lot of space for them. So there's not really many good spots for them. The best spot you probably got is down over here, and there's really not a lot of space back there. Under attack in the middle of the map. Looks like the Monk is going to be able to go down, but now Grubby going to be trying his best to hold on to this position in the center. Crossbow is going to be trying to fire off on the backside. Lance is running a pretty decent screen. Crossbow's continuing to kite away towards the base of Grubby as he continues to fight on, but these knight numbers are looking very healthy for Tarto right now. Grubby's gold getting a little bit out of control. He's got the market ready to trade, so do not fear. And just remember, one of the things that China loves to do on this map, supervise this gold mine, because this is 8,000 resources. You don't have to leave your hill. You sit up on top of your hill, on top of your high horse, and you're able to trade that gold off into other resources. You can trade it off into wood, trade it off into gold, or if the worst comes to the worst, trade it off into stone and grab yourself a little keep. But Grubby's still looking very good. I love the fact, you know, typically I would be thinking 2 town centers up against the 1 town center of the Chinese player. The English just have a massive advantage, right? Well, it doesn't seem to be the case. Grubby's done a great job in neutralizing it. The Song Dynasty is able to keep up pretty well, pretty effectively with the 2 town centers, and obviously he's able to mitigate that extra villager count difference with the relics in the monastery. But keep in mind, he also did a beautiful raid, a great little counterattack on our English player, and looked to really dish out the damage. Only a single relic is going to be in the bag for Tarto here, so it's going to mean that his gold income in the late game is going to have to heavily rely on his farms, his enclosures, and that is always going to be a consideration to make. 88 villagers now out for Tarto, compared over to Grubby, who is sitting on 101. So now hitting that triple-digit mark. The late game is approaching us. We're at the 22-minute mark, and Grubby might be starting to think a little bit about an Imperial Age. He's at 142 population at this point. Sacred Site does try and get attempted to, or does try and be captured. Unfortunately, he's going to get taken out, the Monk on top of it, before it can be closed out. But +2 upgrades coming through for both of these players. You can see every single upgrade coming through now. These guys are playing a very heavy Castle Age fight, and once again, we see Grubby under attack over on this eastern flank. Knights just constantly coming in from all angles. Villagers once again going for a forward keep. Gonna get denied, and you can see it's barely a run back to the pavilion from here. It's so close to each other's bases on this point, on this map, because at this point, players have looked to expand very, very close towards that center, and they will begin to look to gain control over that middle point. Trebuchet, there was a Trebuchet that was out. I'm not sure exactly where it's gone, whether it may have gone down. We'll check and quickly see whether he's still got it. Indeed, he's still got it out somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where it is. There's a couple of Lancers going to be making their way behind enemy lines once again. We'll take a look at how Grubby is doing in the middle, and now all of a sudden we've got ourselves a bit of a keep-off. Villagers looking to drop it down for Tarto. 15 going up against 6 villagers here for Grubby. A lot of these guys on low health as well, as Grubby now turns his attention towards the villagers. He's got his torch out, but ideally he wants to be attacking the villagers, and indeed he does. Jumping in underneath that keep, you can see the damage going to be coming out. We hear attack alarms going off all over the map right now. Grubby is absolutely everywhere, trying his best to hold on. The Sacred Site going to be going down. Second try. Oh my lord, that's a big pickup right there. A lot of crossbows losing their lives. Villagers in the center of the map going to get focused down by the keep. You can see it trying its best to take out these units before the keep gets up. Ideally, Grubby wants to get this keep up, but it's going to be tough for him. Just simply because the keep existing already here, it's going to look to focus down the villagers, and a lot of these vills are already low health. Grubby trying his best to get it up, going to be able to pull more villagers, and almost certainly this keep does get up. It does not look doubtful anymore. Oh, I say that, it does manage to get up. We see a trebuchet firing from a little bit of a weird spot, a little bit of a weird angle, quite an open angle, not opting for going behind the safety of the walls, looking to dish it out a bit more. But third town center coming down for Grubby now in this forward location. That's going to put him on the equivalent of 4.5 town centers. 4.5 town centers for a normal person, for a normal player, for a civ that's not China. So that means that Tato, if he wants to match that, he's going to have to find a way to add in that fourth town center, because you can see he's got 1, he's got 2, he's got 3, but he does not have that fourth town center. But it's still going to be enough to hopefully float him towards that Imperial Age 99. Oh, geez, we almost got taken out by that stone. 99 villagers at the moment, 100. Ideally, as the English, you want to be maxing out about 130, 140 vills. So it's not too far away for him. He doesn't have to worry that much about it. But over for Grubby, though, he's looking very healthy. 109 villagers at the moment. Trebuchet, second one, going to be moving out towards that keep. More raids coming through, and this is the consequence of not walling. We saw Grubby with some beautiful walls towards the front of his base. We remarked on the fact that the position of the Barbican would potentially, or rather the position of the village would potentially deny those walls from coming up, but he managed to put some walls out towards the front. And now Grubby looking to continue to punish his opponent for not walling up the front, and this is the consequence on this map of not doing so. And finally we see Grubby's enemy Tato looking to put some stone walls up, but still this position is very open, very exposed as Grubby looks to try and dish out some damage over towards the base of his enemy. More units under attack. And we can see this sacred site has finally been captured. It looks like it's going to get neutralized, but unfortunately the villagers, or rather the units that were there, do get taken out. And this has been an absolutely action-packed game up until this point. I will remind you guys that Grubby is a fellow content creator. I'm going to leave a link in the description to where you can find more information about him. You can check out his YouTube channel. He's a big guy in the Warcraft 3 community. If you've been sleeping under a rock, or if you don't play Warcraft 3, well, now you know. But if you're interested in seeing that, or if you're interested in seeing some Age of Empires 4 content, he's got a separate channel that is dedicated to it. So I'll leave a link in the description to that so you guys can catch your content fix. But now Grubby looks to continue pushing out across the map. Tato in a little bit of a dangerous spot, but we'll talk a bit more about this late game because we are slowly transitioning towards it. You can see that Grubby is pushing forward with keeps, but as this game continues to go longer, it does become more favorable for the English player. It becomes harder for the Chinese player. Even though there is a little bit of a window for the Chinese player to have a bit of a victory, as long as they've built a villager count, that's going to be the key difference. So we see that Grubby has got a 127 villager count compared to 101. So a bit of a villager difference there between the two players, but Tato's Knights looking very healthy at this point. Numbers looking great for him. 27 Knights coming out, double trebuchets. And remember, this is one of the big differences between these two civs, is that the town centers are going to be providing this network of castles bonus for the trebuchets, which means they do fire faster. We can see that they've got an attack speed of 10.85 compared to the trebuchets down here for Grubby of 12.5. So a very slight advantage to those English trebuchets, and that really starts to pay dividends in the late game. With the network of citadels bonus, that gets increased to even higher amounts. So we'll look to see the upgrades for Tato come through, but Grubby going to be sticking it out in Age 3 here. We're 27 minutes into the game. He's still confident of his abilities in the third age. It looks like, have we got villagers going down here to a potential... What is going on right here? There's no springald emplacement on that, is there? Oh, there is. There's a springald emplacement on that. I don't know how they can't hit that, though. I feel like they should be able to hit that. More raids up towards the north. Grubby able to push through that third town center now. Limiting Tato to second or 2 town centers. He's going to look for an additional gold that comes out to this one on the front side. It's going to be extra tough for him. He's got one more back in the base, but you can see he's starting to run dry. Tato not looking good right now. Getting pushed in between a rock and a hard place. Normally at this point in the game, you would expect players to have moved out into this dale area, look to try and secure up positions. Obviously, there's double wood lines out here, so this is a great little spot to secure up a gold mine out in this corner. Another gold mine close to his main base as well. And obviously, Tato yet to do that, yet to stonewall that up, yet to palisade wall that up. And it's going to hurt him because now he's really struggling to find that gold. 300 left on this bad boy. Barely anything left on this one. There was 8,000 in this gold originally, and now there is absolutely nothing. It used to be 50,000 people used to live here. Now it's a war zone. Berkshire Palace coming down for Tato. Yeah. This is what is painful right now. Berkshire Palace really going to seal the deal here for Tarto in the late game. I can't help but feel Tarto feels forced to go for the Berkshire Palace to defend against the Trebuchet push. But this, is, if anything, is just going to put nails in his coffin. Ideally, you'd go for the Wingard Palace. You'd look to put the Wingard Palace maybe back here. This would be a perfect spot for it. And slowly trickle those Trebuchets down towards the front side. But unfortunately for him, it's not going to be the case today. Berkshire Palace is going to be coming out. Berkshire Palace obviously has this extra range. Now, that's going to be on the condition that he's got the cannon in placement. But still, the only thing that actually outranges the Berkshire Palace with the cannon in placement is the Trebuchet. That is correct. So even if Grubby sees the Berkshire Palace, he's going to be able to deal with it very effectively and basically make it a non-issue. He's got everything he needs. All the cards that he's holding in his hand already are going to be enough to counter the cards that are being thrown out by his enemy. And this is where it becomes really difficult as the English to justify this landmark. But now Grubby, once again, going to be retreating down on this eastern front, trying his best to hold on. You can see the villagers as they evacuate. We're going to be running away with their wood in hand. And this is the consequence of not getting those stone walls up. One of the things that you'd love to see players do is stone wall down on this dale area. But not going to be happening today. Trebuchets now. He's got to be careful. Grubby looking to dive underneath the Berkshire Palace. I'm not sure if he realizes, but that's a Berkshire Palace, Grubby. And now actually just looking to come in and take out the counterweight Trebuchets that are sitting safely underneath here. But not for much longer as they continue to get healed up. Villagers going to be trying their best to tap away at the repair. Nice little trade coming in for Tarto back on that eastern side. And now all of a sudden things are starting to look a little bit better for Grubby. He's maxed out on the population, 187 at the moment, not a bad amount. He has also hit Imperial himself. We see the Spirit Way has gone up, a whole bunch of stables around it. So there is the potential of Fire Lancers, but we do begin to see Elite Lancers or Elite Knights now coming out for his opponent. Tarto going to be running in underneath. There's plenty of villagers here, a lot of crossbows, and of course there are those Clock Tower Trebuchets. You can cut the dragon off by the neck if you just take out the Trebuchets, and indeed it looks like that's what he's going to be doing. Spearmen coming out, and these are not your standard spearmen, ladies and gentlemen. These are your Dark Age spearmen coming out in the Imperial Age. Grubby trying his best to hold on in the Imperial Age with his Dark Age spearmen, and finally they're going to be coming through. The hardened upgrade comes through, and a boar gets aggroed in the middle. It's I don't know why, but the boar, like, I'm just thinking of that meme. It's like, you know, rock concert 110 decibels, jet engine 150 decibels, beluga whale at like 5 meters away 220 decibels, and then it's like a boar alarm going off 6,000 decibels. Like, this thing is so unnecessarily loud. Gonna be able to take out a spearman on the front side. Indeed, it loses its life for it, but I can't help but feel like that was a very loud boar. Jeez Louise. Third town center for Grubby looking very happy over here. He's completely stopped villager production. He's capped out at 124. And now going to be focusing on hand cannoneers. Hand cannoneers, an effective unit against the men-at-arms that the English is able to throw at you, but you've got to be careful going up against those longbowmen. They're always going to be able to snipe those hand cannoneers out. You can see they've got plenty of health on them, so very easy to focus them down, and expensive losses there. So Grubby got to be careful of that in the late game. If his enemy's focusing on a bit more of a longbowman orientated composition, that maybe you can think about throwing out some Chokunu. Could always be the way. We see a whole bunch of upgrades coming through. Elite Army Tactics going to be coming through. No Pyrotechnics just yet for Grubby as he tries to hold on in the center with his veteran archers and hardened spearmen. He's feudal age spearmen, but more villagers moving out. Attacks happening all over the map. He's going to be trying to deny this wood line and doing a great job. We can see there's 20 villagers out on wood, but where are they for Grubby? They are down towards his south side. He's literally on stealth forests because he is so scared of the potential that lays before him. And now we'll check in with Tarto and see how he's doing. Has he secured up any more of the map? It doesn't really look like it. He's got to keep up towards this northern position, and he's able to fire down on the villagers, but still going to be subject to raids and the potential of run-bys. Knights getting a great little surround over there towards that eastern flank. More upgrades coming through for Tarto as he looks to get the +3 upgrades. Outpost with the sprinkled in placement. Firing down on the Knights beneath it. Villagers going to get taken out here. More villagers moving out for Tarto. And it looks like we've got some walls, but they're going to be for Grubby here. Ideally, you'd love to see Tarto walling up as well. Just prevent any of those raids, those run-bys coming through. Still got quite an open base, so we could potentially see more run-bys. And now the Trebuchet looking to shell down the siege workshop of Tarto. But Tarto yet to really find out that there is an actual meta that has developed, and it is not the Berkshire Palace. No, it is the Wingard Palace. The Wingard Palace, if you want to win, you've got to make it. Just like with the Tower of Defeat. If you want to lose, you make the Tower of Defeat. If If you want to win, you make the Wingard Palace. But the Berkshire Palace, it's going to be tough for him to hold on. Veteran Spearman coming through. It looks like Elite Spear is going to be coming through now for Grubby as well. It's been a slow and steady transition, but he's finally making it. And we'll check in on the production and see how he's doing. 23 production buildings right now. Looks like we've got a lot of horsemen coming out. I don't think he's actually unlocked the Fire Lancer just yet. We'll check and see. He is in the Song Dynasty. So still yet to unlock that Yuan Dynasty Fire Lancer. Coming in with a bit of a defensive keep over on these wood lines. You might think that's an offensive keep, but no, he is protecting these wood lines. He knows that these ones over on the eastern side have been somewhat neutralized by his opponent. And so it means that this is a keep designed to obviously prevent his enemy from gathering the wood on this side, but mainly to prevent him from losing the wood here. It is a bit of a long walk for him to get over to this side, so losing it, it's going to hurt. But now a little bit of a lull between these two players. The English player going to be the main individual with the burden here to try and break this position that Grubby has managed to build. He's got a great foothold in the center. This keep providing a great little spot. Plenty of outposts providing springald coverage as well. Villagers do jump inside that keep and now going to be able to provide covering fire. And it gets difficult. It gets very difficult for Tato from here. More run-bys coming through. Still failing to wall up in this central position. You know, just a single palisade wall across here, down around this corner, up over to the edge here. Solves all these problems, and now once again running into the base of Tato. Tato sitting on 126 villagers at the moment, struggling to keep his head above water. You can't help but feel like Grubby is slowly but steadily running over him. Hand Cannoneers moving out towards the keep. Over on the eastern flank, he's managed to mine out both of these golds, or at least one of the golds. Second gold's down to 4,000 gold left on it. Elite Spearmen has finally come out. That is correct. The Dark Age Spearmen have made their way to Feudal Age, eventually to Castle Age, and indeed finally to Imperial Age, but those hand cannoneers running past as well, one-shotting these villagers, trying their best to take out the economy of Tato. He's going to be able to isolate these gold villagers, but you can see that Tato's not concerned about that. He's got plenty of gold in the bank. The main issue he's going to have is wood. He's got wood on this front side, but it's forming a very natural choke point for him, so ideally he'd want to avoid chopping it, but it seems like he's got no other choice at this point. The other alternative is to come out towards this springled emplacement outpost, which is providing great coverage over here, but now we do see Elite Lancers going to be turning their attention towards it. And now the grinding in the late game happens. Grubby is looking very good at this point. He's managed to secure resources, and that's the big thing in this on this map. It's about securing resources in the late game, fighting over the most important resources and securing them, whether you're dropping down a keep like Grubby has dropped down here, whether you're walling up the same way Grubby is doing here. This is how you play the late game on this map. It is really about doing that. Now we start to see stone walls coming up for Grubby, so slowly and steadily he is restricting the map, preventing his enemy from doing run-bys and looking to try and control resources. We see those Elite Lancers able to take out that outpost and take it down finally. It's been dishing out damage non-stop, and it looks like we've got a Yuan Dynasty coming in for Grubby. That is correct. He's looking to get that landmark up. We'll try our best to spot out exactly where it is. Keep in mind, it does provide additional line of sight. So one of the things that you could do if you were Grubby, you could place it down over here, you know, be a little bit cheeky, and then you can actually spy into your enemy's base. Not that you're going to really see much, but this Imperial Palace is going to provide out a nice little bit of a line of sight out towards these angles. Also gives him the ability for Imperial spies. If you want to know where your enemy's villages are, it gives you a little bit of a cheat, a little bit of a hack for you to see that. Of course, it enables you to see those workers for 10 seconds. But now a push in the middle, trying to come through. Grubby obviously trying to get this wall up, but if Tato's got anything to say about it, he'll be saying no. But Grubby going to be catching him. A couple spearmen looking to move out, and Grubby doing great trades here, trying to keep Tato down. He's got plenty of resources in the bank, but unfortunately just doesn't have the production to match it. He's on 21 production buildings at the moment. 5 stables. How does he have 8 elite knights inside his Berkshire Palace? There's not that many. Realistically, there's 5 stables, 5 archery ranges, and a barracks. It's not a lot of production for him. It is not a lot of production for him. But now, continuing to chase around these elite knights, he's going for a very heavy knight composition. I can't feel like the push is just not coming to shove. And this is the consequence of going for this Berkshire Palace. If you had the Wingard Palace at this point, you're probably up to 7, 8, 9 trebuchets. You're pushing through the middle here. You're able to take out this keep. You're able to take out all of these units, and there's no real response that the Chinese player can make. With a combination of men-at-arms together with, you know, longbowmen on the backside, keeps going up, outposts going up. It's very difficult to push through here, and it changes the entire English playstyle in the late game here and really forces a bit more of a cavalry response. But Tato, nonetheless, still trying to add in more trebuchets. We do see we've got arrow volley coming through, a whole bunch of upgrades, set up camp, incendiary arrows also coming through for Tato. And now there are plenty of walls just over there. Oh my god, is that a stone? Oh, stone wall tower coming out for Grubby. How rude making a stone wall tower. Oh my god, if my enemy makes those, unironically, I'm like, I can't believe you made that. I can't believe you made it. It's so busted. But look, in this position, it's to provide line of sight. And it's kind of to deny the stone outcropping. I will permit it, Grubby. At 39 minutes, I'll allow it. The first bombard of the game going to be coming out. He's got that pyrotechnics in already. Got to be careful with these hand cannoneers as he continues evacuating this front line. Grubby got to be careful here as these knights are looking to try and dish out some damage, but the spearmen following them in tow. Bombard going to be losing its life very quickly here, and Grubby, unfortunately, going to be heading out there. I say empty-handed, but he's managed to take out quite a fair few elite knights. And Tato on this front side, trying his best to gather up some stone. Ideally wants to drop down a keep. He doesn't have that much time. Under attack over on the western front as well. You can see he's got line of sight on this lumber camp. The Springwood emplacement firing down upon it, and Springwood emplacement on the stone wall tower firing down on the mining camp. But now Tato under attack. He's down to 180 population. Reinforcements slowly but steadily coming in. Hand cannoneers on the back line looking very strong for Grubby. And now the Chinese power is really coming out. Oh my god, it immediately denies the keep. The keep was going to come up for Tato, but he loses it immediately. The Bombard's saying absolute good night, sweet prince. It was a pleasure knowing you. And now Tato really getting pushed against the edge of the wall. He's trying his best to hold on, but the ropes are not looking good. They're looking a little bit bouncy right now. Another stone wall coming up in the center of the map here for Grubby. He's trying his best to force Tato out of this, and looks to try and take this game. He's continuing to push up. He's managed to stonewall up the other side, but Tato is chopping through. I don't know whether that's intention, as horsemen going to be coming out. It's only veteran horsemen, though. Still yet to grab that elite upgrade. We can see them coming through now. Elite army tactics, elite horsemen coming through. Not sure whether he's got the biology upgrade. Indeed, it looks like he does have the biology upgrade. And you can see the horsemen just struggling a little bit more. Spearmen going to be coming out. Tato trying to put down a stone outcropping. Bombards on the backside. Going to be very difficult in this position for Tato to hold on. These bombards going to be able to deny so much potential from these keeps. Plenty of units getting cleaned up, and now all of a sudden on the front side, the Berkshire Palace firing off towards the Stonewall Tower. Grubby looking to try and put in a little bit more lame towards this angle, but unfortunately, not if Tato's got anything to say about it. It will not be happening. And now all of a sudden, Grubby trying to close out this game. And you got to say, it's starting to look very, very good for him. He has slowly but steadily cleaned up these bombards, or cleaned up these keeps on the front side, prevented them from going up. And there are many ways that he's got open towards his enemy's base. We look from Tato's perspective, there's barely anything that he's got going on. A little bit of forward farms. He's out here as well, chopping towards the stragglers. On the front side, the villagers are going down from the keep. And this is the consequence of not going for that Wingard Palace. If you want to win, you got to go Wingard. But unfortunately, Tato not looking healthy. 133 population. And with that, he taps out. Victory for Grubby. Fellas, if you've enjoyed this casted game, do go check out Grubby. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can catch plenty of content, including a lot of Holy Roman Empire games. Go and watch him. He's an absolute star. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.